Okay, so the opposite of squaring a number is finding a square root. And to find the square root of 36, let's say, what we're doing and how we set it up is going to be different than what we did before. So the square root of 36 really means 6 times 6. But the answer is just 6. We don't have to go through all of that, right? We just did the opposite. We don't have to say 6 squared. It's assumed, right? We already know the square root of 36. It is 6. What about another number? Let's see, the square root of 49. 7 times 7 is 49, so the square root of 49 is just 7. Let's see, one more. Let's say the square root of 196. Now, I don't know all these numbers and square roots by heart, so I'm going to have to use my GED calculator. And when I use it, I'm going to have to press second, which is lime green, on the calculator first. Then my square root symbol. Then my number. And then enter. What's that answer? The square root of 196. I'll give you just a moment to complete that. Okay, the answer is 14. Use that calculator. Let's practice using the calculator again. Let's see. Let's see the square root of, and I'm going to make it super simple. Let's say 81 this time. Even though you don't have to use the calculator. I know you know it. Let's practice though. Square root of 81. Remember, we're doing the second button, which is lime green. Square root symbol. 196, and then enter. I'm sorry, I just did the last one. Let me switch. We just said 81, didn't we? We know it's 9. Gives us some practice. And just to note, this square root symbol, this is going to say x squared, but there's a square root symbol above it. But the second button lets us do these functions and it works out. So just make sure that we know that. Let's try another. Let's say square root of, I'm thinking. Let's say 225. The square root of 225, you may know it, but let's just use a calculator. We're doing the second button. Square root symbol, which looks like an x second. Then we're doing 225, and the answer is 15. Okay, square root of 225 is 15. Now, there are times when you have a fraction. Let's say the square root of 49 over 225. I could work this out if I really wanted to, all right? With the calculator. I can do that, but I just want to see what you will do, or how will you figure this out? What's the first step? Okay, so someone said it. Really, we're looking at the numerator. The square root of 49, which is our numerator, we already know is 7. The square root of 225 we just did, that's 15. So we're just really bringing that answer over. And really the answer is 7 over 15. The square root of 49 over 225 is 7 over 15. Okay, there's one last set of problems that will be a little challenging, but I know you can get it. This next set, really these are numbers that are not going to be even. So if I did the square root of, let's see, let's say the square root of 90. Let's just do that. The square root of 90. We already know, you know what? From everything we know, there is no way this is going to work evenly. It just won't. And we have to have a number times itself really to justify this, right? To say that this is a square root. But there are those that we cannot have an exact answer for, so we're going to find an approximate. This is the approximate symbol instead of the equal symbol. So the square root of 90, we're going to have to look and think of a number line. The square root of 90 is here. What comes before the square root of 90? Really, we could say the square root of, we're thinking, could we say 81? On the left, it's below 90. But then what could we say on the right? We're thinking. Could we say 100? The square root of 100 would be on the right-hand side. Square root of 81, square root of 90 in the middle, square root of 100. The square root of 81 we know is 9. The square root of 90, okay, we don't know yet, question mark. We know the square root of 100, that's just 10. So really the square root of 90 is between 9 and 10. It's an approximate, not an equal to. So the number that falls on the number line between 9 and 10 is, drum roll, right? It's really 9.5. And I like thinking money. So if I had $9 here and $10 there, the number that would fall in the middle is 9.5. So if you think of it in these terms, it might be more helpful. Again, this is a little more challenging than what we were just doing. It takes a little bit of reasoning. Let's do one more. Let's say this time we want to do a square root of, let's say 20. Okay, I put my square root of 20 here on the number line. It might be easier just to do it that way. To my left, to the left, as the song says, square root 16, it's below 20. But to my right, it has to be a bigger number. What would be the closest thing? Let's see. 5 times 5 is 25, so the square root of 25 would work. So if we worked these two out, square root of 16 and square root of 25, we would find the numbers at least that we could compare the square root of 22 and make sure that it falls in between those two numbers. So the square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 25 is 5. What falls in between 4 and 5, it really would be a 4.5. So the square root of 20 approximately is a 4.5. Again, if you have questions, let me know. This concludes our session today. For next class, we will be going over algebraic expressions again. We'll talk about plugging in. Even though we've worked on it, I've just found that some students are still struggling, and that's okay. So that's what we look forward to Wednesday. But again, if you need more videos, I'll send those. I know we do Math Antics, but also Khan Academy. And I look forward to seeing you guys Wednesday.